It's like ooh la la, ooh la la. It's not hard to say how I feel. It's like ooh la la. It's kinda easy now 'cause it's real. Hey. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Well, hi everybody, how are you? It is Gretchen here with Story and Art, Keeping It Real, episode, seriously, number 300. Yes, 300 days in a row. I have put a story in front of you, or two or three stories from wherever I am. A good lot of them were live nights. The last several have been premieres, and you've stuck with me. You've stuck with me because I'm kind of fulfilling a huge dream. I'm in Botswana right now, if you're listening to this. So I thought I'd give my hair the old, probably safari look. And I have been in Botswana for several days. If I'm right, I'm showing this on the 13th. And I have three more days here. I'm probably leaving Botswana today, if you're hearing this, and heading to South Africa, perhaps. I was, before I left, when I'm recording this, I just so excited about going. I really didn't worry about where I was going to be when. I knew that's all taken care of. I just was worried about getting my stuff together and having the right stuff with me and getting these put together for you guys. So yeah, so that's where I am, and we're at episode 300. It has been a journey. I've learned so much. Big kudos to everybody in the eCam fam who's helped me with this. Doc Rock, Paul Duncan, who have been my mentors, Luria, all those guys started it, the whole eCam fam, really, because without them, I wouldn't have ever figured out how to do these kind of recordings and show these kind of stories. But, or to record them, or to even think about doing this. And it's become something that really gives me a lot of joy and has taken a whole new twist to my journey in my photography, and tying in my storytelling and love of children's literature. So today I'm going to give you a couple of fun stories about elephants, just goofy fun stories about elephants. Um, but well, one is goofy fun, one is kind of done off of a legend type of thing, based off a story told by Rumi. So that'll take us from one kind of elephant to Indian elephants. But I wanted to start out with a poem that I found in a book called, let me see, Singing with Elephants. And it's a bunch of poems. And the poem is called The Elephant's Eye. Deep, beautiful darkness, long feathery lashes, peace beyond patience. Her eye speaks with stillness, a reminder that humans are not the only intelligent observers of behavior. Eye to eye, our friendship is born, and when I blink to see if she'll imitate me, She winks. I know. She really sees me. This was from a book that I found, and it's not one for reading as a picture book, but it's called Singing with Elephants. It's a collection of poetry written by, let me get back to the beginning of this if I can, if it's going to take me there. Um, Someone who it was back in, good grief, takes me a bit. Hang on. Anyway, the woman that wrote the book, it starts out with, it's a historical fiction, and it starts out with a piece from early on. Let's see, Singing with Elephants, Margarita Engel. And the opening poem says this: Poetry is a dance of words on the page. These poems are a story about the summer I learned to twirl and leap on paper. It was the summer when I met a famous poet and a family of musical elephants. Until then, all I could do was wish like a caged songbird, wordless, wistful, wishful. And it's a Santa Barbara, California, 1947. Musical elephants are alike, mountains with windy whispers, the sea when it roars or chants a lullaby, tree branches that clack like maracas, and every animal that opens its mouth to howl, bark, or chant about the freedom to walk, 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 rejoicing in the sheer joy of touching green earth with rhythmic beat and dancing minds. So I've been reading this for myself, kind of as just a collection of poetry and things of getting myself ready for being over there. And I know that this is historical fiction and it's idealized about her relationship with the elephants, but I also know that nothing I can do will really prepare me for boots on the ground in the African Okavango and experiencing these animals in their natural habitat. I learned that firsthand when I went to Katmai, Alaska, and was in a very remote wilderness area with the grizzlies. What I had seen at a zoo or what I'd seen at a rescue center was nothing like what I experienced when I saw these animals in their natural habitat. I know what a profound impact that experience in Alaska had with me. I can only imagine, and I'm living it right probably while you're listening to this, what this experience of seeing the elephants and lions and leopards and hippo and rhino and water buffalo and all the birds and the beautiful country and the beautiful people that is so different from my everyday life, what it is going to be like. So I'm excited to bring those stories back to you and those photographs. But until then, I do have some stories to share with you in terms of books. Let me see. Let's start with Elmer and Super L. Yeah, we'll start with Elmer and Super L. Now, David McKee wrote the Elmer books. I think the first one came out, I can't remember, maybe it says. But they've been around a long time, and there's a lot of them now. And the calico or the patchwork elephant that we all know as Elmer has become kind of a mainstay and a real a great character in children's literature. So here we go today with, I'll move this down a little bit, Elmer and Super L by David McKee. Let's see, the artwork is done. It doesn't tell me. This was American edition published in 2012, so this is a fairly new Elmer book. Elmer the Patchwork Elephant was taking his morning walk when he heard an "Oh no!" Looking around, he spotted a small elephant dressed in an outfit that he recognized. "Well, hello, Super L," Elmer said with a smile. "What's the problem?" "Look," said the small elephant, showing his torn outfit. "That thorn bush attacked me. The other animals will laugh if they see me like this. That's not very super." "Aunt Zelda can fix your outfit," said Elmer. "We'll just have to make sure no one sees you. I'll distract the other animals. Come on, it'll be fun." First Elmer went to the elephants and called out, "I've just heard a good joke. Listen." And the elephants all looked at him. "There was an elephant, a lion, and a fish," he began. "Oh dear, I've forgotten the rest." "That's a good one," the elephants laughed. "Elephants never forget." Elmer and Super L hadn't gone far when they heard Lion and Tiger approaching. "Hello," said Elmer. "Nice day for it." "Eh? Nice day for what?" asked Lion and Tiger together. They were confused enough not to notice the little elephant on the rocks above them. "We're near the hippos," said Elmer. He picked up a broken bush. "Hide behind this." "Taking a bush for a walk, Elmer?" chuckled the hippo. There's an elephant behind it," Elmer replied. "Oh, he's joking, Elmer." The hippos laughed. Once Super L was safely past, Elmer said, "Wait here. I've an idea how we can get past both snake and rabbits." The rabbits were listening, enthralled to Snake, as the two elephants slipped past. Oops, what did I miss? Did I miss a page? Nope, I didn't. As the two elephants slipped past them. "What's going on?" whispered Super L. I asked Snake to tell the rabbits about the time he tricked me and the elephants," said Elmer. "He tells it beautifully. They haven't noticed us." When they came to the crocodiles, Elmer threw a branch into the river to distract them. Then he and Super L crossed in the confusion that followed. "It's not going to be easy to pass the monkeys," said Elmer. "Leave that to us," said the birds. The birds were wonderful. They sang and flew in patterns above the monkeys' heads. The monkeys were too fascinated to notice the elephants, and Little Elephant nearly stopped to watch, but Elmer pushed him along. "Thanks, birds, you were fantastic," said Elmer later. "Look, there's Aunt Zelda saying goodbye to some friends. As soon as they've left, we'll go to her. Remember, she doesn't always hear too well." When the others had gone, Elmer said, "Hello, Aunt Zelda. This is my friend Super L." "Yes, I'm very well, thank you, Elmer dear," said Aunt Zelda. "But your friend's suit looks like nearly worn out. Shall I mend it?" "Oh, yes, please," said the little elephant. And Elmer lay down and watched as Aunt Zelda sewed with a thread so fine you could hardly see it. "Aunt Zelda," said Elmer. "Oh, you are a wonder." "Wonder, dear? I didn't hear anything," said Aunt Zelda. Super L smiled, and Aunt Zelda quickly finished the repairs. "Thank you. Now I feel super again," said the little elephant. "I think you're both wonderful. Maybe one day I can do something for you." And with that, he he shot off like a rocket into the sky. He looped back just once to wave goodbye. If he's going to rush around like that, he'll rip his clothes again, said Aunt Zelda. Probably, said Elmer, chuckling. Probably. And that's that. That's Super L. Elmer and Super L. Whoa. So that was Elmer and Super L. David McKee wrote that book. He was creator of Elmer the Patchwork Elephant and Mr. Ben, who wrote the illustrated children's classics. He died at the age of 87 back in, when was that? I'm seeing his obituary. It's hard to find the date on it. But he wrote the first story of Elmer, I thought so, in 1968. And it was not immediately obvious that it would become a huge success, but McKee added a second title, Elmer Again and Again, in 1975, and gradually more over the years. There are now dozens of Elmer books, which have been translated into more than 60 languages. So his popularity increased, and McKee kept a firm grip on how the Patchwork Elephant could be adapted to other media. His unusual wish not to pursue the highest commercial gain, combined with his modesty and lack of pretension, ensured Elmer's status as a national treasure, never to be threatened or overshadowed by his other books. He continued to love writing about Elmer because he enjoyed the response he got to the elephant's warm-hearted message of inclusivity. He also felt close to him as a character. He said, "I know him well and enjoy the stories he tells me. In terms of publishing, he has snowballed, but I have never felt that he has been taken away from me." And that's very cool. So that's David McKee, who wrote that book. Now, the next book that I'm going to share with you is called The Elephant in the Dark, and it's based on a poem by Rumi. It's by Mina Havarhebin, and the pictures are by Eugene Yelchin. And at the end of the book, I'll share some information about these two. Elephant in the Dark. Let's see. Beautiful end paper in it. So the elephants in these will be Indian elephants, the smaller ears. A poem based on a poem by Rumi, some of my favorites. Merchant Ahmad had brought a mysterious creature all the way from India. The news spread fast through the village. What could the huge beast be? The villagers ran to the merchant's barn next to his house to see this strange creature, but the doors were locked, and the merchant, tired from his journey, was sound asleep. The rowdy crowd woke the merchant. He stuck his head out of the window and shouted, "It's too dark in the barn to see anything. Go home and let me sleep." But no one went home. Instead, they decided to see the beast for themselves. The first villager snuck into the dark barn. He tripped on a bucket of water and fell on the animal's long, slithery nose. This startled the villager and set him running. Outside, he gathered himself, puffed his chest, and said, "The creature is like a snake." Next, a short man entered and reached very slowly into the dark. He wrapped his arms around one of the animal's legs, then rushed out to report, "People, the creature is not like a snake at all. Oh no, it's round and tall like a tree trunk." A third villager climbed inside the dark barn. The beast swept its huge ear against her face, and the woman ran out. "Ah, the creature is neither like a snake nor a tree trunk," she panted. "It's like a fan, a huge floppy fan." The three villagers argued excitedly. Others scratched their heads and disagreed. Each offered such different views. The fight escalated, and the remaining villagers stole into the dark barn to find out the truth for themselves. It's like a leathery jug of water. It's skinny and hairy like a paintbrush. It's definitely sharp like a plow. It sounds like a horn. All day long, they called each other names and fought to prove each other wrong. Into the night, no one listened, but everyone shouted and shoved. When the sun finally rose the next morning, Merchant Ahmad led the beautiful, gentle creature to the river. But everyone was still too busy fighting to notice the large gray elephant, and no one noticed that they each knew only a small piece of the truth. One of Rumi's most brilliant poems. That's kind of how I feel about, what I've been told about coming here to Botswana. I know that before I leave, everything's being told to me that I'll know only a small part of the truth, and until I see the whole picture, I won't know it all. But the lesson that this story tells us about making judgments based on a small little bit is kind of important. Here is the author's note. I've always felt a very special bond with poet Rumi. Like Rumi, I was born in Iran, formerly Persia, and my native tongue is Persian. And I, too, am destined to live outside my country of origin with people of many cultures who have widely differing points of view. I often find myself wondering what would happen if, instead of arguing, people would listen to one another and place their conclusions together like pieces of a puzzle. In his poem, Rumi clearly illustrates how each person perceives the elephant according to the small part he touches. He also shows how insisting on our own conclusion, made in the dark, keeps us from seeing the whole picture. Further along in this fragment of what is a much longer poem, Rumi writes, "If each carried a candle in their hands, there would be no disagreement in their statements." I think of this story as a lit candle, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to pass it on to you, my dear reader. I think I'm going to put that saying on above my desk. If each carried a candle in their hands, there would be no disagreement in the statements. And the illustrator's note says, I became an artist in Russia during the time when information was routinely obscured or distorted by the government. And that is why I so eagerly embraced the opportunity to illustrate this book. The importance of seeing the complete picture instead of groping for bits and pieces of it in the dark resonated deeply with me. Such personal connection to the story helped me to bridge my art with the art of the Persian miniature painters whom I chose for my inspiration. Each of their meticulous paintings is a world complete in itself where nothing is overlooked or obscured. To make that world accessible to contemporary kids, I relied on my own background in visual storytelling and theater. In the end, for me, merging the ancient Persian art with my own modern sensibilities is what made the story and pictures take on a life of their own. I love that. Absolutely love that. Oh my goodness. Yes. If each carried a candle in their hands, there would be no disagreement in their statements. Wow. There. I put the statement, I got it up. That's wonderful. You would hope that that would be true. And maybe it's something to strive for. Carry a candle in our hands. Yeah, I like that. Well, everybody, that is it for me today for episode 300. Thank you so much. This is such an amazing journey. I'm having such a good time sharing stories with you and being part of this and having you be part of my journey. So until next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you. The first place you'll see it is if you go look in the mirror, and it'll be looking right back at you. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on this journey with me, for joining me whenever you can, and for being part of story and art, and for always keeping it real.
All we need is a place to be and a few good friends for some company. If you'd like to stay, you don't have to leave. We'll leave the lights on and the door unlocked. If you drop on by, you don't have to knock. We're happy to share whatever we've got.